Hello, hello, hello. I am your host of Soul Talk, Rabbi Weinberg, and I am joined with celebrity trainer Steve Roth. I'll let him introduce himself in a second. Steve has trained Madonna, he's trained Chuck Norris, many people. But more importantly, I recently heard he was a disciple of the very great Rabbi Kahana, who organized the Jewish Defense League. If any time we believed, as he said, every Jew at 22, that this was necessary, I think he predicted this anti-Semitism that we're seeing has caught everybody by surprise. You know, Jews feel never again, but it looks like, as Elie Wiesel said, after the Holocaust, I thought the hate went up in smoke, but it looks like the haters are still here. But more importantly, what I want to focus on is that Steve, a lot of people don't know that Rabbi Meir Kahana was a great scholar, and he had a message about Moshiach that when we were conversing today, you just told me that I don't think a lot of people know, and I think it's a beautiful, amazingly profound, relevant message today. So without further ado, maybe you could briefly introduce yourself and share with us, because you were his disciple, what he felt about Moshiach.
Hi. My rabbi, Meir Kahane, was assassinated in 1990. Very pro-Israel. I live in Nicaragua, so sometimes we lose electricity.
We can see.
Sometimes we lose electricity.
You can see.
But what he said about the Moshiach was that the Moshiach is knocking at our doors. He's knocking right now, but no one's coming to answer it. The Jew is not ready for the Moshiach, but the Moshiach is ready for us. And that's what he told us all the time.
It's amazing. That's so insightful. Wow. Steve, I want to ask you something else. You said something about an example of crying for milk. Can you give that example?
What did I say?
He said he gave an example of a baby crying for milk.
Oh, yeah. Rabbi Meir Kahane would say, do you see the baby over there screaming and shouting at his mother and father and carrying on and having a tantrum? We should learn from him, or learn from that little baby. That's how we should be acting, and we should be screaming the same way for the Mashiach.
Ad Mosai, Hashem, send us already Mashiach. I think the Rebbe, Meir Kahana must have sensed what the Rebbe sensed, which is that Mashiach is really ready to come. The Rebbe said, harder than it is, and I think you'll agree with me from other things he said from Rabbi Meir Kahana, harder than it is to take the Jew out of exile is to take exile out of the Jew. We have to understand that we are the chosen people. God has a chosen land. It's a country. It's our country. He has a holy temple. We belong in the greatest spiritual heavenly reality possible. But we're brought up in exile, and we think it's like one of my teachers had an example. Two worms, one day they crawled out. One came out of a radish, another came out of a strawberry. So the guy out of the strawberry is like, why don't you come to the strawberries? What do you mean? I got a great home. He says, you idiots, you're in a radish. He says, no, it's fine. It's a good home. He says, come to the strawberry. He says, I'm happy. I'm comfortable. The same thing as the great rabbis, they could see what Mashiach is, a time of kind of miracles, of imagine like living in the desert with Moses and information, and everything's going to be good, not only for the Jews, for the whole world. So we should be shouting to God, Mashiach, Mashiach, what's wrong? We enough already. So I think that this is a powerful message. I hope that everybody takes this message to heart. And I want to conclude, if I may, there was something else you said to me that struck me nicely. If you got an insight, you got to share it. he said at the very beginning when we spoke earlier today, sometimes I teach a little bit and you come up with good ideas. So I learned. So the point is that life is actually beautiful if we just, what did you say? Remember?
Yeah, I do remember. You said, "How are you doing?" And I said, I'm doing really, really great. I have no problems. Our world is created individually for us. And the times that we could put input, if we remember to put input into loving, caring ways, those decisions in our decision making, and believe that whatever is happening to us is happening to us because our Father loves us. And if you truly, honestly believe that, honestly, truly believe what you're saying, then how could anything be wrong? That whatever happens is supposed to happen. And because our Father loves us, then everything's done for us through love.
If I may, I want to challenge you on that. I actually put out a video
Yeah.
today. My challenge to you is very easy for you to say. I've got a bank mortgage that I got to pay. My mother-in-law's driving me crazy. Everybody knows my wife. It's not a reality. I'm just bringing this out. My wife drives me crazy. And you know what I mean? I got issues, man.
Each person lives in their own separate world. And that world is created especially for each person. So the way that I deal with problems is totally different than how you deal with problems. Your world is completely different than my world. My lessons and my lesson plan is personalized specially for me. How you live in your world and your lesson plan and your lesson class is totally different than me. So I can't tell you how to live your life because I'm living my life. I live in a room in Nicaragua in a third world country. You live in the United States. And for some reason, you have a lot more to complain about than me. I don't have a car. I don't have a bicycle. I don't have a boat. I have a room. And I'm not complaining about anything. And if you ask me, how am I doing? I'd say I'm doing great. Now, if we switch places, I would say, can you live in my world in a room with no car in a third world country? But that's not your life. Your life is totally different. But if you accept the way that you're living and accept what's happening and you learn from it, then you have nothing to complain about. In our morning, we talk about that some people have a lot more than us, but we're lucky that we have whatever we have and we're happy with what our portion is given to us. So I'm just really happy with what I have. I don't have cancer. I'm not sick. I'm healthy. I'm not dying. I don't have all these problems. And I in a positive way. What you described was something negative. And that's the Yetzer Hara giving you all those problems. But if you turn everything around, then maybe you don't have problems. Maybe you're just so lucky that you're causing your own problems.
Like I say, if the only issue in your life is more money, man, you're the richest person in the world. Some
Don't
people
have
have
any problems.
some
Thank
people have
God.
some people have real problems. So I think in summary, the two messages that we got from you today, which are really the core messages, is that number one, we have to demand of God to bring Moshiach, and Moshiach really wants to take us out of exile. And that notion that we're going to be coming to an infinitely beautiful world and it's right upon us will motivate us to desire it, to request it. It says the Jews are only redeemed when they want God their king and King David their king. And second of all, we have to be happy with what we have. All the issues. This guy told me once a dream he had, and he saw like a whole bunch of like little genies. They were all holding on to these like little kind of pyramid kind of or spherical cone-shaped pyramid things. They're all saying mine, mine, mine. And that's the thing, you know, it's all about little children. They'll grab a toy, mine, mine, because they think that the other guy has it better. And most of our issues in life is because we think somebody else has it better. And that means I'm being shortchanged. And as I said the other day, happiness and sadness come from the same place. I met a guy over 90, and he said to me that he says, you know, I didn't deserve my wife. She was such an amazing woman. So he was very grateful for what he had. And on the flip side is if we think, oh, it's unfair what someone else has, then we can't be happy with what we have. And so it's all about, like you said, understand that you are much more blessed. This guy, Rabbi Michael Banashev, is a very great rabbi Jew. He told me, it says in Kabbalah that we all have infinitely better blessings than our curses. So let's keep focused on that. Keep on thanking God. That's the only way to be happy. Any concluding thoughts?
Bring happiness and kindness and lovingness into this world. And if you truly do what you're supposed to do, everything goes the way it's supposed to go.
Right. That was your first point, that if you're going to be focused on the negative, it's going to be negative. But if you're going to focus on the fact that it's great, and my job is to provide loving kindness. So instead of being, oh, I need this and I need that, and now I'm upset. No, I have a job to provide loving kindness. Then I will feel good about life because already life has gifted me with infinitely more than I deserve. Who am I? I'm a nothing. And yet I have so many blessings. So as long as I'm focused outward, and this is a recent letter that I saw from the Rebbe, he says that as long as you're focused on giving more than taking, then you will be happy. And that has to be your focus. You have to believe that it's possible. If God gives you a mission, you can. And just look for opportunities. Be your own magnet. You don't need anybody to teach you. You don't need anyone to give you permission to give. God gives you, he entitles you to give. You are a giver. Go for it.
That's it.
That's it.
You know, he's put us in this world for us to give.
Yeah.
Not to take.
Right. Exactly.
Just to give.
Exactly.
And the more you give, the more you get.
Exactly. Exactly. Because ultimately, happiness is a spiritual feeling. It's feeling proud of yourself. And the more you give, the more proud you're going to be of yourself. It's really quite simple. As the Rebbe says, that also happiness is mainly a spiritual thing. It's not a physical thing. So, you know, don't allow the media to convince you that a boat is going to make you happy. Because if you have a boat, you're going to want a plane. Or the only thing that's going to make you happy is giving someone else a boat on a plane. All right. Steve, thank you for giving us your personal soul training. You've elevated from being a physical trainer to a spiritual trainer. It's pretty good.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Take care.
Bye.